Many of us see artificial intelligence as a tool that can make processes faster, more efficient, and less prone to human error.
Well, every day, humans interact with some form of artificial intelligence, but could AI actually violate our human rights?
All right, some world leaders are already sounding the alarm.
But there's a growing awareness that AI can also infringe on some of the most fundamental human rights. These are not hypothetical risks. AI technologies have been applied in ways that affect people's real lives, sometimes without their knowledge or meaningful consent. Consider the global spread of advanced surveillance and monitoring systems. Governments and private companies now possess tools that can track individual movements and behaviours on a massive scale. One technology often singled out is facial recognition. It's no longer limited to unlocking smartphones or tagging friends in photos. In certain places, entire neighbourhoods and public squares are under constant watch. Officials can identify who attends a protest, who enters a certain area, and who associates with whom. There have been cases where marginalised groups are disproportionately targeted, as these systems are trained on data that may contain existing biases. At international borders, some travellers face additional scrutiny based on their appearance. Even if the authorities claim this technology improves security, it can quietly erode the principle that everyone should be treated with equal respect and dignity. The problem isn't restricted to border checkpoints or city streets. Within universities, social media scanning tools have emerged. These systems comb through online posts, messages, and forums where students discuss social issues or plan gatherings. In some cases, they've been used to regulate protests or to flag certain forms of activism.
Facebook now says it will take down some spots organizing protests against stay-at-home orders. A spokesperson says they violate social distancing guidelines. Now, the site will take down posts in its events feature.
Instead of encouraging the free exchange of ideas, these AI-driven techniques can discourage students from speaking openly. This creates an atmosphere where people feel watched, worrying that a comment or a post might be misinterpreted, leading to unwanted repercussions. It narrows the space for healthy debate and engagement, which are essential for academic and civic life. Another area where AI's influence raises alarms is in policing and public safety. Predictive policing tools promise to identify areas likely to experience crime, allowing law enforcement to allocate resources more efficiently. In theory, this could reduce crime and improve security, yet these tools rely on data that may reflect existing patterns of discrimination. This can mean sending more patrols into neighbourhoods that have historically been over-policed, regardless of the current reality. Instead of breaking cycles of suspicion, predictive policing may reinforce them, prompting officers to stop people who are already unfairly targeted. Such measures chip away at the principle that everyone should be presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Algorithmic decision-making has also crept into the public sector, affecting access to healthcare and social assistance. AI systems analyse data to determine who should receive certain benefits, treatments or support, while efficiency and cost control might be the intended goals.
Surveillance in China, facial recognition to fight crime, computers advising doctors, and Fortune 500 companies using algorithms to vet job applicants. Artificial intelligence is getting personal, but misusing it could do serious harm.
The reality can be far more complicated. An algorithm might conclude that certain groups are less cost-effective to treat, or that an applicant for social assistance is less likely to use resources responsibly. Without transparency or a clear explanation of how these decisions are made, individuals facing hardships can be unfairly denied vital services. They are left with few avenues to challenge these judgments because it's not always clear who or what made the call. As the safety net becomes automated, it risks losing the human sensitivity required to understand unique circumstances and individual needs. Migrant monitoring systems add another unsettling dimension. AI-powered tools can track the movements of migrants and refugees, treating human beings as data points to be monitored and controlled. Rather than recognizing their right to seek safety and a better life, these systems categorize people according to perceived risks, flags or profiles. It becomes easier for authorities to justify tighter controls, restrictions or even deportations, potentially ignoring the genuine reasons that drove individuals to seek new opportunities. Such surveillance can undermine not only privacy but also basic principles of compassion and fairness that should guide how societies respond to people in vulnerable positions. AI's influence over freedom of expression and the flow of information is also concerning. Social media platforms rely on automated content moderation to remove harmful posts. The goal seems noble: limit hate speech, harassment and misinformation, but automated filters can struggle with context, subtlety and cultural nuances. Legitimate discussions on political issues issues, historical events, or social injustices can get flagged and taken down. Critics of government policies, journalists covering sensitive topics, or activists raising awareness may find their voices muted by an algorithm. The result is a quieter digital public sphere, where fewer people dare to speak freely. At the same time, the very same technological advancements have enabled the rise of deep fakes and disinformation campaigns that flood the internet with fabricated images, videos, and stories.
As technology advances, the scams do too. Experts now warning you can't always trust what you see. Take this case in Florida. The owner of a title company, Lauren Albrecht, was trying to verify the identity of a woman who was selling property.
Margaret?
And luckily caught on.
Democracy itself can be undermined if voters base their decisions on manipulated or false content. The financial and economic domains reveal another dimension. AI-powered credit scoring systems often examine countless data points, from employment history to online behavior, to judge credit worthiness. While this may speed up lending decisions, it can also lead to discrimination against certain demographic groups. Similarly, AI-driven housing allocation tools may deny housing options to individuals deemed high risk based on their digital footprints. A person's ability to secure a home or a loan could hinge on a machine's opaque assessment rather than an unbiased review of individual merits. Over time, these biases compound, keeping certain groups at a disadvantage and reinforcing inequalities. Government and administrative systems offer further examples. In some instances, automated tools have tried to detect benefit fraud among citizens applying for childcare or other forms of support. When these systems are poorly designed or trained on flawed data, innocent families become entangled in red tape, losing benefits they desperately need and struggling to clear their names. The human cost is enormous. People who have done nothing wrong can be forced into debt, homelessness, or humiliation because a software program flagged them as suspicious. Without easy access to explanation or compensation, they bear the brunt of an error they did not create. This technology has advanced so rapidly that it can now produce highly realistic but fabricated content. Deepfake pornography has emerged as a disturbing phenomenon, allowing perpetrators to insert someone's face into explicit content without their consent. This undermines an individual's right to dignity and autonomy over their own image. Worse still, AI can generate abusive or illegal content involving minors, a horrific development that law enforcement struggles to combat.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. It's me, Ella. Well, a digital version. And I certainly don't want this.
Such misuse of AI represents a direct assault on fundamental protections against sexual exploitation and abuse. It's a reminder that for every innovative breakthrough that could be used to entertain or educate, there exists a shadow side that must be acknowledged and addressed. The dark intersections of AI and human trafficking are another pressing concern. Traffickers can leverage AI-powered grooming tools to identify, befriend, and manipulate potential targets online. Instead of physically searching for victims, criminals can exploit algorithms that analyze social media profiles, interests, and vulnerabilities. Once they have this information, they can tailor their approach, making their victims feel understood, cared for, or trapped. This tactic makes it even harder for law enforcement and support organizations to identify and stop such operations before harm is done. The result is a chilling scenario where technology intended to connect people is twisted into a weapon against the most vulnerable. What links all these cases is not the idea that technology itself is evil, but that it can be misapplied without sufficient oversight. AI systems are shaped by their creators, the data they're trained on, and the purposes for which they're deployed. When these systems operate without transparency or accountability, human rights can become casualties of efficiency, profit, or even misguided good intentions. Societies around the world are grappling with how to ensure that AI is developed and used responsibly.
It's not an overstatement to say that AI is a game changer, while at the same time a huge amount of risk. The risk front, we see risks to enhanced discrimination, things we already see in society that can be taken viral, if you will. Incitement to violence, also.
Lawmakers, human rights groups, and civil society organizations are calling for stronger regulations, more rigorous standards, and ethical guidelines that developers and deployers of AI must follow. Yet tackling this issue is not straightforward. AI is complex and often opaque. Algorithms can be proprietary, meaning the companies behind them can resist calls for independent audits. Government agencies may argue that disclosing how their systems work could compromise security measures. Meanwhile, the people most affected, those who lose jobs, face unjust surveillance or are denied housing or loans, often have few means to understand why this happened or how to correct it. To address these challenges, experts suggest encouraging transparent and explainable AI. This means designing systems that can show users how a decision was reached, allowing them to challenge it if needed. Another angle is pushing for legal frameworks that hold those who deploy AI accountable. If a company's algorithm discriminates against a minority group, for instance, there should be consequences. If a government's AI policing tool leads to unjust arrests, there should be a clear path for redress. Implementing meaningful oversight bodies composed of technologists, ethicists, human rights advocates and community representatives could help ensure that powerful AI tools serve the public interest rather than undermine it. The power to influence this trajectory lies in collective awareness and action. It means paying attention to how AI is deployed in everyday life, questioning who benefits and who is harmed, and supporting initiatives that push for transparency and fairness. AI has the potential to improve lives, but only if it's harnessed thoughtfully. Without careful guidance, it risks perpetuating and amplifying injustices that societies have long struggled to overcome. Subscribe for more.